It's been a long time for me, but not so long for you. Um, yeah, I finally arrived at my family's house or farm, I guess we should say, in Kansas. And yeah, it's a real change for me from my home with my own family in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So, I guess this week we're going to be doing a little bit of a vlog that is honestly going to touch on some things that are really personal and emotional. And it's all hopefully going to circle back to writing, but we'll see how I can make that work. By the way, if you're new here, which you probably are, I'm Zinnia. I like to read and write. I'm currently at the tail end of querying a psychological horror novel, and I'm in the throes of Act Three writing of a first draft of a Southern Gothic dystopian. So that's where I am in writing. And in life, it's a little bit harder to pin it down. So we're here in Kansas for 6 weeks. So we arrived on Thursday, and today is Tuesday, July 1st. So I'm still getting regulated from jet lag. It's a 12-hour time difference, and it's really kind of a tricky one. So yeah, I'm getting normalized. I did some great writing today, though. I wrote about 1,200 words earlier today, and I don't know that I'll get any more in tonight, but it's currently 7 p.m. My kids have gone out with my parents to go for a little walk by the cornfield, and yeah, they're having a grand old time. It's really nice to bring them out of the city, give them some country air, let them play with, the pets and, literally touch grass, which they don't do all that often. And yeah, so in the past few days, I had to start kind of dealing with some grief and some loss that I've been able to kind of put in my pocket and leave there. So our closest neighbor in the country, as you can see out the window, there's like nobody out here. So our closest neighbor was my grandmother. She passed away at the ripe old age of 102. So it wasn't unexpected. And we were kind of happy for her that she didn't suffer. And she was in good physical and mental health up until the end. And she only spent, I think she spent maybe 1 week on hospice. I don't remember. As you can see, I was not here to see her at the end. I was not here for her funeral. So yeah, I'm dealing with it in my own time, in my own way. I'm not ready to talk about this. Um, well, this is not the way to start a vlog. Anyway, I had a lot of things stored in her basement of her little house. Her house is on the same property as my parents' farm. It's just there are a few unplanted rows of corn that lead down to her home. You can walk between the farm and the little house, which is really nice. So I was down at her house in the basement, kind of sorting through all of the things that I packed away 10 years ago because I moved to the Caribbean thinking I would be back in 1 year. And now it's been almost 11. So I have a lot of things there that I had to throw away some clothes and things that have just been, they're not good anymore. They've been sitting there rotting for a decade. But there are hundreds of books there were hundreds of books in that basement. And I also found all of my old notebooks from graduate school. So that was hard for me to be in my grandma's house without her and also think about how am I going to sort through these hundreds of books and figure out what to keep, what to get rid of, and where to put these things because my mom doesn't really want me to dump a library in the middle of her house. But my brother, who's also a pack rat, came down there and saw me sorting through some things. And he's got a house around here. And he said, just put it in the back of my truck. So we loaded up the back of his truck with all of my old books and stuff. And now he's going to hold on to them for me for possibly another decade. Anyway, so that was kind of an afternoon of reflection and grief and rebirth. Yeah. And just today, I got some difficult news of a very different sort. Like, nobody died this time. It's just a personal upheaval, I would say. And I'm really not ready to talk about that yet because I do not know what my path forward is. But that's something that I'm going to be working through here at my parents' house, thinking a lot about what direction I'm going to take, kind of in my career, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on my book. And yeah, that's kind of where we are. Yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about basically this vlog. You can expect to get some beautiful Kansas 4th of July type scenery. You can get some beautiful Kansas scenery, which honestly, I'm sure people are like, "Oh, Kansas, how horrible and boring." I mean, it's the time of year where it's just green and fresh and quiet. And that might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's definitely not mine full time, but I like being here for 6 weeks and kind of having this return to childhood in a way, or like walk down memory lane. And yeah, getting to share that with my daughters. So I'm also going to bring you along and share some maybe unexpected scenery with you. I think the Kansas that I come from is maybe not the stereotypical Kansas that you would think of. We are in eastern Kansas, so it's not quite the plains. We've got some rolling hills and some spectacular sunsets. So, yeah, look forward to that. And I'm also going to talk more about probably just where I am in my draft, refilling the creative well, and what a change of scenery can really do for your creativity. But yeah, oh, and also, I feel like there's something going on with like a July rough draft kind of challenge, and I'm going to see what that entails and also work out how many more words I need to get through to finish the rough draft I'm on. And then I am chomping at the bit to start my next rough draft because I'm very excited about that horror retelling story. So I feel like I've got a billion projects and I want to work on all of them at once. And I don't trust myself to do that. I'm far too ADD to handle that. And also, I've got all these other more personal things that are not writing related that I need to give some mental space for and really focus in on and think on. But I don't want you to be worried about me. If you are so kind as to be worried about a stranger on the internet, please don't worry about me because really everything always works out for me. And I have a strong support system in my family here in Kansas. Also, my husband, he's back in Vietnam. He's conveniently had to work, which honestly he would like to be here. But okay, catch you later. Bye. Today is July 3rd, and it's been a busy couple of days. We went to an apiary farm that has like children's educational activities. So that was really fun, sort of, except I don't really like flying insects, as most people don't. And yeah, so I was not thrilled to be around a bunch of bees, but they did like a flower planting activity, which is something I can get more into. Sorry, this is going to be wobbling a lot. I've got you out here literally on the porch swing with me. This is about as down home as it gets. So, yeah. Yesterday I wrote maybe 450 words. But I kind of zoomed out and I read back a little bit of the manuscript. Like I read kind of Act 2 and the beginning here of what I have in Act 3. And I realized that in terms of the first draft, I probably only have about 5,000 words to go, because really I just want to hammer out what happens at the end. And then maybe I want to just come back to the rest of that in the draft 2 and kind of flesh it out more. I'm not sure if that's the best approach, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about this book, is that I know what I want to have happen, but I don't necessarily know all of the pieces around that will make it really feel full and complete and feel like a real like denouement situation. So yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but fireworks have begun because we're here July 3rd. But yeah, in terms of the denouement, I feel like there's like a peak, a climax at the end, and then there is going to be some falling action. And I have some bits and pieces of that, but I think I need more time and more reflection to work out exactly what that is. So I think the best thing I could do for myself in terms of the draft is just to kind of hammer out what I know, which I think would be equivalent to about 5,000 words. So if that's the case, my next video will probably be a vlog that's like finishing my first draft of my second manuscript. At least I hope that that's where I'm going to be. But yeah, that's pretty thrilling. And I mean, I do have like some action-packed days coming up here with like 4th of July party. And then for some reason, we also have a 5th of July party somewhere else, like at a different location. We're doing kind of the same stuff again because one day is just not enough for us. We just like to eat and blow stuff up. So like true hillbillies, I guess. Or maybe we could say Hill Williams. But yeah, my kids are really looking forward to it because, you know, they spend 11 months out of the year in another country. And this is the one little snippet of time that they really experience like being American fully and what that kind of means culturally. So it's a good time to have them here. But yeah. I wanted to say that I went for a walk down by the cornfield, and there's like that path that my dad has left unplanted in the cornfield where it leads down to my grandmother's house. And I walked down through there, and there's just something really eerie about that. And not in like the Children of the Corn way, which it is scary in that way. It always has been since I saw that movie in childhood. But no, there's something kind of mystical about the repetition of the rows, and you just kind of get hypnotized by it. And I could see how there's sort of a call from the corn that's like, come in here, look in here. You know, there's something, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like, it's also the sound of the blades rubbing together. It's the silk. There's a whole sensory thing that happens. And I was thinking, before I came out here, I was thinking that I wanted to come up with an idea for like a Dust Bowl horror book maybe, or some kind of mystery. And I think I have it. And it's kind of like a time slip, murder mystery, generational trauma, family drama sort of thing, which is not what I often write or what I read even. So I'm going to really need to like read a lot more mysteries, and because this is like at the core, it very much is like a murder mystery. And I sat down, I came in for my walk, and I kind of like thundered on the keyboard and like banged out what I think is a synopsis for this book. And I don't have all the pieces of the mystery part, but I have the surroundings of it. And I've got like, I think 3 or 4 different possible motives of people who could be investigated. And yeah, they're like, I think I know what the stakes are going to be. Like I have some of them I have some of the most important pieces put together.
So that's super exciting. And this isn't my next book that I'm going to write. It's maybe the next one after that, because I don't think I can write a creepy cornfield book while I'm surrounded by creepy cornfields. Like, you can't see the corn out behind me because that's soybeans this year, but there's corn down there. There's corn up the road. Like, it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, so that's something that I feel really qualified to write. So that's exciting and fun for me. I'm sure I'll be talking a lot more about that after I finish the third manuscript. This is going to be number 4, I think. Although I have a climate fiction in mind that's going to be a contender, that one's really weighing heavy on me too. But yeah, I need to kind of put that aside, though, and really focus on finishing the second manuscript, the Southern Gothic dystopian that I've been working on since, I don't remember, early this year. So yeah, that's all I got, really. But it is exciting when, like, one of those ideas just kind of bursts through and you feel compelled to type as fast as your fingers can go. Like, that kind of feeling is really good. And that's probably, I wonder sometimes if that's my favorite part of writing, and it kind of might be. But yeah, I fall into the category of a person who's like very excited by ideas and less so editing. But that's going to be coming up soon too, that after I set the second manuscript aside for a little bit, I hope that I will start editing in August or September and just give it a little bit more space to breathe than I did with my first book. But yeah. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that it's just kind of amazing how setting and place can play such a big role in helping you dream up an idea, because I sat around in Vietnam kind of thinking, like, what am I going to do in terms of, like, this Dust Bowl book? Because I knew that, because my grandmother recently died. I think I know I mentioned that the other day. And she was born in, she was 102 and she died this year in April. So what year was she born in? Like 1923 or something? Yeah. So she grew up in the Dust Bowl, and I can remember her stories about, like, stuffing rags into tires so that they could keep driving the car, and about, like, filling in the cracks in the house with, like, paste and mud and things so that they could try and keep the dust out, and about covering the butter with a cloth and putting it down in the cellar to try and keep the dust off the butter. So we're in eastern Kansas, so it wasn't like the worst part of the Dust Bowl that hit here, but it was terrible. So it was a terrible time to be in the Great Plains. So she kind of lived a really sad sort of teenage years or like childhood existence, but she came through it as, like, she was one of the happiest people I knew. She loved animals and she loved children and she loved to cook, take care of people, and she could hold a grudge for 50 years. Like, she was kind of feisty in that way, and she had really strong opinions, but she was also just genuinely happy. And so I'm kind of interested in how people can grow up in these, like, really difficult circumstances in childhood and come through it to be adults who are just full of love. So that's kind of a theme that I want to look at, is, like, family and persistence and, just that will-do spirit, that can-do spirit, and that, like, that will to survive that will to survive and prosper. I think that's a really interesting theme, and that's something I want to work on. And yeah, I sat in Vietnam knowing that I wanted to write a book like that, but I couldn't come up with the actual plot. I needed to be here and be, like, in the corn, and then it came to me. So it's pretty amazing how that works out. But yeah, I'm going to go and, take care of my kids like I'm supposed to. And then I will maybe get back to you. Just getting interrupted. I can't try and sit down for 10 minutes, and it's so hard. But yeah, it's going to be a rough one. Okay, bye.
guess what? It's midnight and I'm wearing my mother's bathrobe and I'm in my parents' very country kitchen. Like, not like the fake kitschy country of like the early 2000s. Like, this is like the real deal. I will show you a few of our very country decor items that are authentic. But first I want to say a little bit about how I'm surviving writing away from home, but also like at my real home. So I don't have a setup. So I have my keyboard and my computer stuff, all of it kind of jammed in a backpack, and I just move it around to wherever suits me at that time. But I have found that they don't have any air conditioner vents in the kitchen, so the climate is much better in this room. These people are keeping the house at like 74. That's just too cold for me because I'm acclimatized to the tropics, and that makes me sound like an ass, but it's true. I do best when temperature is between 80 and 90. Anyway, I'm here. Yeah, it's almost midnight. It's 11:15, but it feels like midnight. I'm gonna sit down and write a little bit, but first I do want to show you some of our really cute kind of farm things, and also talk a little bit about why this is both a good and terrible situation for me to be writing in. Okay, first, let's go over here. Yes, my daughter's been doing a lot of drawings. My parents are very proud of. But yeah, here's our mirror, and it is a horse collar from the farm from the time when there were no tractors. They've turned it into a mirror. It is very cute, but also feels like it's slightly haunted, maybe? I don't know. Let's look at some more haunted things. Okay. This room is the original barn board from our barn that stood out here even before the house was built, I think. They had to tear it down because it was structurally unsound, but they salvaged and harvested all of this barn board and used it to, like, I don't know, used it as walls inside this little breakfast room that they built onto the house. So they have all of these, like, dippers. I don't know why my mom's into dippers, but I feel like it's kind of cute. And here, this is a photograph of a French family that is not ours. I found it in an antique shop next to my old apartment in Castres in the south of France. And I bought it and brought it here and brought whatever ghost attached to it along with me. And here we have an aerial photo of a farm that is in the family, but not this farm in particular, from 1956. So that's interesting and weird. And somewhere else in the house, we have one of our own farm, an aerial photo from a long time ago. But yeah, as you can see, this room has too many windows, if you ask me. It's nice in the daytime, but at night, it's just a lot of dark out there, and I'm always terrified that I'm just going to see somebody walk by or like see something moving that shouldn't be there because it's empty. It's a big empty place out there, and that means that it could be full of things that scare me. So yeah, this is kind of a perfect formula for me to write scary stuff in my book and, terrify myself. That's kind of how it goes. Anyway, yeah, this is where I'm writing right now, and it's very different from my usual environment, so I'm hoping that this change can kind of boost my writing in a way. Like I mentioned earlier that I had a great idea for my Dust Bowl novel that I want to write, and yeah, I'm making some interesting progress on my Southern Gothic dystopian, and yeah, I'm going to keep working on that tonight and then get as many words in as I can, and then I'll I have to take some time off for the 4th because, oh god, that little hallway is creeping me out tonight too. Oh, I might need to go upstairs to my room where everyone else is upstairs. I might need to go up there because, yeah, I don't like that hallway. It's funny how, I don't know if this is the same for everyone else, but I get so much more scared in the house where I was a kid than anywhere else. And I think maybe that's normal. I don't know. all of my childhood fears are kind of bottled up here. I mean, I feel like that's a premise for a book too. Everything's a premise for a book. I love ideas. Okay, anyway, I'm going to write a little bit, and then if I get too freaked out, I'm going to go right upstairs. I think the baby's awake. I just heard some. Okay, I'm going to pack up and keep writing upstairs. Just move my setup and try to keep going. Okay, I don't think the baby was actually awake. I don't know what I heard, and I don't really like that. But anyway, I'm upstairs in the bedroom that I slept in as a teenager. My daughters are sleeping in my childhood bedroom that's pink. I'm in my teenage bedroom, and this bed frame I believe belonged to my grandmother on my mom's side, who died several years ago. And there's also a really cool let me turn the camera around. There's this really cool period makeup table. I believe it's from the 50s. I don't actually really know, but it's yeah, I really love it. And I was looking around earlier today, and I was like, now that I've been away from home for I left Kansas 11 years ago, and now when I come back and visit, and especially come back to my parents' house, I'm like, wow, this place is kind of when I go to sleep here at night, I feel like I'm kind of in an antique B&B, because it's this old family furniture is still here, and they just kind of take care of things and keep things. This bed frame is old but has a new mattress in it, so it's actually really comfortable and nice, and I don't know, they really value the history of things here. And there are my suitcases over there, and I just have nowhere to put my clothes. But another thing I wanted to kind of show that goes back to how much I've loved books and literature for a really long time, and this is a poem, but let me see. Okay. This is an art project that I did in the 5th grade, where the teacher wanted us to cut out letters and write a couple of stanzas of our favorite poem, ransom note style, which, looking back on it, that's a really creepy thing to have elementary school kids do. But my mom is so sentimental that she framed it and kept it, because we love The Raven, but we also love Wordsworth. We love the Daffodils. And we used to recite that one too, and Frost, and of course all these great classic poets. But yeah, my mom kept it. She said she found it in the piano bench with my piano books, and she framed it and put it up in this room. And yeah, it's very sentimental place. So I'm going to try and write a little bit more tonight, but honestly, it kind of overwhelms my heart being here. Yeah. But yeah, what a weird vlog. Sorry. I guess this is really where I'll leave you tonight. But yeah, I hopefully will be back in another vlog soon, finishing the first draft of the second manuscript. Very exciting. Okay, I'll probably show you the 4th of July, but no one cares. Bye.
A little scared.